Okay, fantastic. So as I said, this is part two of real estate value. Let's just get started right now on this presentation. And I want to start off with a really funny picture that one realtor actually showed me, and I thought it was hilarious. She showed me like 10 years ago, and I always kept this picture. And this is basically talking about the subjectivity of a home. You know, if we have red paint or blue paint, it's better. If I have pretty flowers, it's more, it should be selling for more. The subjectivity, the way we view our homes, you know, the way a buyer would view our home, the way, you know, a property assessor, which is property tax, the way they view our home. You know, it's all different, which is, I always love this picture, and I just wanted to share it with everybody. Now, with that said, there is a lot of subjectivity when it comes to real estate. However, there are actually a lot of things that are very objective. My company, MPAC, we actually do, we're heavy on statistics based on sales, based on different variables in the market. And when we say variable, we have almost 200 variables that we take into consideration. And of course, not all 200 variables are significant, right? In fact, 5 major factors account for approximately 85% of residential property value. So if you don't want to think about anything else, just think about these 5 factors. What are they? Location, lot dimension, living area, age of property, quality of construction. So let's get into it and let's get started on these. All right, we'll start with the most simple concepts that everybody, it's so obvious, I don't need to explain too much. Living space. If we're comparing living space, listen, you're basically talking about a bigger home versus a smaller home, right? This is the almost obvious thing. If it's the same neighborhood, same area, you have to pay a lot more for a larger home, right? Now, there's actually a lot more details involved with living space, such as diminishing returns and economy of scale and all that, and also market absorption. But these things we will not going to due to the time limit we have today. But just bigger home versus smaller home, so obvious, you got to pay more. Age of the property, very simple as well. Age of the property, if you have an older home, right, you have depreciation, and with depreciation comes problems with depreciation. You got to replace the roof, you got to replace pipes, the siding, the flooring, you might have to do a complete reno. This is all problems that come with older homes. This is why you pay more for a newer home, because you have less of these problems, or they won't be coming for another 20 years or so. All right, very simple to understand as well. Now let's talk about the third topic, lot size and shape. Now this is something interesting because it's, you know, it's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. There's a lot more involved with lot shapes, but I just want to explain. One thing, if you have different, like a pie shape, reverse pie shape, or perfectly rectangular lot, just remember there's so many things to take into consideration. If you have a huge frontage, that's amazing, but if you have a smaller backyard, you might not have as much usable space as you think. Whereas the other way around, you don't have as much frontage with a pie shape, but you have lots of usable space in the back. That might be worthwhile. Now, my favorite lot shape is the rectangular shape, because you can use the entire rectangle, right? It's easy. You don't have to care about the curves and the edges, right? You can use the entire lot, and it's great for redevelopment later if you want to like split the lot into 2 if you're zoned correctly, and you can build on it. You can sell it to developers, right? Things of that nature. So I'll give you one example right now. I'm looking for a home, right? I see a huge lot, 7,000 square feet, 8,000 square feet. But the problem is, I went to see the lot. About 2/3 of it was on a slope, right, in the back. So it's pretty much unusable, I would say, right? So that has to be discounted. You know, it's not a full 8,000 square foot lot. It's just really, we got to discount these things. Now, once again, it's not as simple as I make it out to be, but once again, due to the time constraint, let's move on to the 2 most important ones out of this entire list of 5. All right, we talked about size, we talked about age, which is critical to the value. Lot, I would say, is ranked number 5. The lot shape and size is ranked number 5. Now let's talk to the top 2. Let's start with quality of construction first, okay? Quality of construction. Let's start with the best. Degree of architectural detail, amount of customizations, renovations, the materials used, these all are associated with quality of construction. Let's look at this house right here. Beautiful custom built luxury home. You can see from the outside, the architectural design, there's different shapes, there's different features and additives. There's beams, there are beams here, there are balconies, right? You can see different textures of stone, wood, and different paneling, right? Of different texture and different color. You can see a circle, a second half circle here on the right hand side. It's a half a circle shape. It has to be custom designed that way, and lots of features here. Now let's look at this is the highest level. Let's look at the average level, what it looks like. This is a typical home, say in Toronto in Canada, where look, you can see the immediate difference. Not as much customization. There's only two color tones, which is brick on the side and stucco in the front, right? The white stucco in the front. And you can see the shape of the windows are completely different too. They're very simple, they're trying to give you a 3D look as well, but not to the extent of the first home where everything is 3D, there's lots of depth involved on the exterior, right? The garage is nicely painted. There's some basic design. You have a cathedral entrance at the very top. So this is a home that will give you some customization, and it will give you some customization. It will give you some features available, but this is mass produced in different models. There's usually 1 of 5 models. They can mass produce this. You can have some feel of customization. My son is really going crazy today, so it's awesome. He was quiet the whole morning, but he picked my webinar to do this. But let's go to the last choice, the very bottom feature, right? The very basic one. This requires a lot of change, right? And renovation. But you can see this feature, very flat on the outside, very flat, one tone shape and color. The garage is metallic, it's metal. You can't see with this picture, but it's metal. There's no design, very basic. The color is basic. The window, the shape around the window compared to this one, right? There's no shape anymore. It's really just a bare bone window frame compared to even the first one. It's completely different, right? This is the basic level. It's not the very worst. Trust me, there are worse homes, but this is pretty much the low end of the range, okay? Now let's move to the next, feature, the interior features, which is extremely important, right? The renovations and the finishing done. Now let's take a look at the high-end quality finishing. You can see, let's start with the floor first, okay? High quality tiles, and then we move up to the second level, which is cabinetry. Cabinetry is beautiful, custom. You can see it's copper finished, copper handles, and the countertop, large piece of granite, right? Large piece of high quality granite, probably looks like 2 inches. And you can see from the appliances, the refrigerator is hidden away with the cabinetry, and you can see there's a distinctive design for the cooking portion, the range itself. High quality range, expensive. That's about $15,000 to $20,000 for that range, just the appliance alone. And if we move up a little higher, you can see the actual hood fan, the range hood. It has a marble finish, which is crazy to look at. It's huge. It's it's one large piece of hood. It's beautiful, right? Marble finishing. So hard to see that. The electrical fixtures, you can see the lighting. It is custom designed. These are many of these lights. These are pearl lights. They're gorgeous. They're expensive, and they made a good. They designed this. They bought a bunch just to make it look actually nice. Now let's look at the roof itself. The ceiling, it's actually indented. There's lighting built within the roofing, and there's trimmings and finishings, which is just amazing. Just that the roof itself is even customized. Now let's look at a typical home in Toronto. A very nice, warm feeling kitchen. I love this kitchen because this is something that I would actually use, and this is something I would actually afford, right? You can see immediate difference, right? It's that the floor, hardwood, very nice. Cabinetry, not as detailed as the other one, not as detailed as the first one. The finishing is not as good. The handles are different. Appliances are different. They're not hidden away anymore with the cabinets. and you can see that they do actually have a range hood, but it's much smaller. It's completely different finishes. And you can see the top of the roof, the ceiling, it has pot lights, and the electrical fixtures are nice, but not nearly as detailed and as exquisite as the first one. You have a wood countertop here in the middle, and overall, very warm feeling, very nice. I would say this is a very average, slightly above, I would say it's above average kitchen in a typical home in Canada. I love this. This is something I, would love to, come home to kind of thing. So very nice. Now let's look at a basic one, right? This is something like, say, that comes with apartments or unrenovated homes in the 80s, or something like a rental unit, or, in the lower quality homes. Very basic. You don't even have granite anymore on the countertop. You have vinyl. You don't have a backsplash. The cabinets are all IKEA cabinets, or even lower quality. But nothing wrong with IKEA cabinets, because I want IKEA cabinets. I can't afford anything else. So you can see the floor is linoleum, white appliances. None of them are hidden away. The top of the roof, actually, this picture is, they used to have it, but it's just a basic roof, nothing, no pot lights, low quality electrical fixture. You see they don't even have a hood fan, it's just a microwave range hood. This is the basic, the low end of the kitchen upgrades, right? So quality of construction, we can see it differs greatly throughout these things and affects overall value. Now, let's talk about the number one factor that affects real estate value. And as Dave and many of you mentioned earlier, it's all about location. And what can we say about location? It's location, 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 okay? Let's read this article from Toronto Blog. This is from a few years ago. Someone is selling a tiny garage in Toronto for $600,000. Let's just be clear, when we're talking about location, we're talking about land value. The garage didn't sell for $600,000. The actual land under the garage sold for $600,000, okay? So land value, what affects land value? Well, many people move to Canada for one thing. It is education for their children, right? It is so important to them. And time again, you see places with amazing schools. Amazing schools will sell faster and will sell easier at a higher price. Now, for those of you who are in, say, Toronto, you've probably heard, or North York, the school, Earl Haig, for example, in North York. Very amazing school. I know some of you have a home around that area, and it sells well above homes that are not within Earl Haig's school area. And it is just proven. You can literally find the same home suddenly much cheaper at a 10% discount, or even more, when it's not in this school district. Now, what else affects real estate value? Well, I wanted a lake, right? You want a mountain, lake view or lake access. Direct lake access is way more expensive than lake view. Imagine waking up to this, having a coffee, reading the newspaper on your laptop, checking out emails with this kind of view on these chairs. I mean, this thing, it's priceless. It is priceless, right? So lake views are super expensive. And just FYI, right now, because of COVID, we're noticing that lakefront properties are selling like crazy. People are going crazy on these things. So it's funny what we value during a time of crisis. And finally, if you're from the Toronto or any major city in the world, you'll know one thing: traffic is the best thing not to experience, right? Whoever likes traffic. I mean, we gotta have a conversation about, what your worldview in life. I hate traffic, and what's a good way to get around traffic? Subway, rapid transit. So subway or train, not streetcar or bus, but it has to be rapid transit, something not affected by actual traffic itself. And time again, it's proven, if you live near a major subway, if you're 10 seconds away versus 10 minutes away of walking, it makes a huge difference, especially in Canada. Imagine there's snow and cold -20, 10 minutes versus 10 seconds, it's completely different, okay? So this is a huge effect on value itself in the major cities. Of course, if you're going to the burbs, you need a GO train, right? The GO train will help you with that as well. Now, once again, like I said, there's so many factors that affect real estate, and we only have 15 minutes today. Due to the length of time, I'm finished with this presentation, but there are so much more you know, we can expand on any of these factors for, you know, hours on end. But I hope everybody learned something with real estate on a property level today. I love to do these to everyone, and you know, I'm welcome to questions if you have any.